105.7 FM. I'm Kenneth Awotwe Darko. I'm sitting in for Adobe Abrichum, your regular host. And I'm doing this once again with one half of the usual suspects. Today is one half of the usual suspects. Samuel Boateng, tech content creator with interesting digital trends. He is doing this with me today. We have a very interesting topic, and it's up the back of some things we mentioned last week when we're discussing the, apps that could help you de-stress. Today we are talking about streaming services, music, movies, wherever you get your multimedia content from, and we are trying to explore some of the hacks or some of the ways that you can maximize and make the most out of these features, because there are some hidden features in there, and we are trying to bring you all up to speed on those issues. So that is our topic for today. And I mean, a lot of us have been using, for me for instance, I'm on a number of streaming services.
Are you patching or?
I'm the sole
Okay.
I'm the sole owner. I would
Okay.
like to add,
Okay.
but I totally understand what you're saying,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's one thing for me. I do not understand how people are able to get their content these days if you are not on any streaming platform. If you are trying to get your music, I have a friend, I won't mention the name right now. Anytime he wants to listen to music, he has to go onto some website and download the songs himself, and then I'll transfer the songs onto his phone. He downloads the songs on the PC and sends it to his phone to be able to listen to that one song. Then I keep asking him, so when you want to listen to the next song, what do
The
you
old
do?
iTunes method.
Exactly.
I see.
Exactly. So that's why today's conversation is important. And it's interesting that we try to find ways and means to maximize all of these platforms.
Mm-hmm.
But before we get into the conversation, there is one notion out there that before you're able to access some of these platforms or to subscribe to some of them, you need some accounts, some serious, like an account with a lot of money, or you need like $1 account and all of those things. Samuel, I would like you to go into that for me for a bit. But while Samuel comes in, I would like to remind you of our WhatsApp numbers. If you have any, or you're on any platform, any streaming platform that you feel like you are getting a lot from, and you feel like you want to share some of your hacks or how to make the best out of them with us, the WhatsApp number is 055 997. 055 997. Samuel, so I'm trying to be on one of these platforms, be it Apple Music, Spotify, Netflix, Amazon Prime. What are the very basic things that I need to have to be able to access some of these platforms?
Actually, the first thing you need is your Ghana card. You don't actually need any complicated steps. It's quite simple. Anyone with a Visa card, a simple bank card. You don't need a dollar account or any special bank account to be able to access these platforms. It's that simple. It's like creating a Facebook account and just adding your card to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite simple. So you don't need to send your phone to Circle for someone to give you Apple Music. I'm telling you. Some people actually do that. I know some guy at Circle can get your Apple Music, has to carry the phone there to go off, you have to go back again. And every time you might be asked, you are giving yourself out for data breach. I mean, someone can easily copy some of your files and so on. Your privacy is being just spent out there. Meanwhile, too, all you had to do was to use that same ATM card that you've been collecting from your boyfriend, that same ATM card you have taken from your mom's wallet, and so on and so forth, to buy your own account. And they are not that expensive. That's one trick that people have not noticed. I mean, it's not that expensive. Some are, it's just that the dollar keeps rising and going up.
Yeah.
Some accounts are just like 30 cedis, 15 cedis. You can buy that Google Cloud and iCloud that we've been complaining about. My phone is full. It is quite cheap. You can get some 50 cedis, 30 cedis a month. So if you are someone who do not want to waste a lot of money, you can probably do the yearly subscription.
Plan.
So sometimes if you want to join fresh, you can get some free months, some 3 months or some 1 month for free. Then you buy the yearly subscription, you can save a lot of money. And with that, you are good for the year. That Christmas money you got, why don't you cut a bit of it to buy your Google Cloud? You wait for the next Christmas, you get another one. You buy that way you get the bonuses that they give. I mean, in terms of discounts and all those things to purchase these accounts. Netflix is quite easy to buy. Apple Music, very easy. Spotify, very easy and cheap. Even for students, they are subscription for students, very, very cheap. I think it was 15 cities or so. Yeah. And 50 cities now, you can't even buy Wachifu and Ameba.
You can't.
Yeah,
I bought some today.
Yeah. So I've listened to interrupted music where you are playing and then they'll come and do adverts one. I have a friend who does that all the time. And he will not give it to himself.
Yeah, I actually was at a place where the DJ was playing music. And people were dancing. I was just in my corner looking at what's happening. People were dancing and then there's a quick break in there. So everybody had to stand. Now Spotify, blah 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 blah. It was so funny.
Oh my god!
Like, how are you playing music like streaming from a free platform when you know the show is probably will be disrupted?
Oh my god!
Yeah. So how about the since we're on this angle, there are also people, for instance, on Netflix. There are people who would like to, because their accounts can be shared.
Yeah.
There are people who like to chip in, and then find a certain lump sum and then pay for a subscription, and all of them share it. But eventually, sometimes when I don't know how it goes, but some people complain usually that they were in their account, they've been using their account for a while, and then all of a sudden they can't log in again.
Yeah.
Most likely because maybe that same logins had been shared with too many people.
So it's not that it's illegal to have your account shared. Sometimes, for example, we have family packages for Apple Music. We have family packages for other accounts that maybe, for instance, Spotify. Dual accounts that maybe you and your girlfriend are sharing, or you and your brother, or you and your mom. I don't know who does that. You are sharing an account, and then you need to. One person just needs to pay. I didn't know for a while I was paying for Duo, and I didn't even realize. So for several months,
the other slot was
it was
free.
just free. Nobody and being wasted
it
for a couple of months until I went to my account setting and I realized that the thing I thought was cheap and I was paying for was actually for 2 people. So I can even go cheaper. So if you are here and you are actually registered, you are listening, I think you should check your account after this. Sometimes you may be having, sometimes they update their terms and agreements, and I think at a point there was some bonus that came with some HD accounts. It wasn't Netflix, it was Spotify. So you have to keep reading the terms when they bring those updates and emails. Yeah, sometimes they reduce the price, sometimes they increase the price. So when you check your account balance, you don't see someone has stolen your money. You understand? So the best thing for me, I've realized is for someone who has a lot of people sharing an account, it's best if you buy something like Apple One, where you get access to Apple TV, you get access to Apple Music, cloud storage, and so on and so forth. Like a lot of features, all in one payment. So you pay like, I think that time was 150 cities or so. You get access to all these things, and people can also share on it. You can have your family. There is an option in the Apple device that has family, where you can have people join in, and the Google Cloud space you are paying for and everything is being utilized by everyone else on that space. So that maybe if your dad is rich and doesn't know, he has bought an iPhone and doesn't know, he can't consume all the space. You can let him buy maybe 1 terabyte for the whole family to share.
Yeah.
So that all the devices in the house can be connected. So there's a family section and people can just come in and he'll be paying every month or even for a year. It saves a lot of money.
Yeah. Sounds like a very economical thing to do.
Yeah.
But since you are still on payments, let's talk about the other payment frameworks as well. So for those on Apple, a lot of the time you'd have people sending you Apple gift cards and all of those things. So people would rather, because it's generosity. Someone sharing buying you an Apple gift card. I think it's something that's generous. Do you think it's a safe way to go?
Well, if it's a gift from someone, it works. But it shouldn't be your go-to. Some people, they don't know that you can actually buy. So they always want to buy the gift cards to be able to recharge your account. No. You have your card. Unless someone wants to purchase on your behalf, then you can do that. But if the person is interested in purchasing continuous, why don't you just have an account that you share with? That makes it easier. At the end of the month, you don't have to go and beg the person. You understand? If you have a grudge, the thing automatically is deducted from the person's account. You don't have to now go and say, Kojo, I'm sorry for what I said. It's automatic. You are always on, being paid for. And then there's no hassle of, it has expired. Let me just go and... No. So the gift card is cool and all that. But I think it would be best if you actually have an account that can be deducted from continuously like that. And since I started using it, they don't do any absurd deduction out of nowhere. No, it's only there's a specific amount that they come, and they always do it at that moment. They will never deduct you more than that. No, it never happens that way. So you are safe if you give your account to places like Spotify, the Apple Music. They are certified, so you can actually go to their account directly. Do not use a third party to be buying from Netflix. That is where the problem comes in, where they can steal from your credit card and all those things. Yes. So buy directly using the official website. On Spotify, Apple, you can do it on your phone. You don't need to go to any. You just go to your account subscriptions. There's a lot of family options, plus, and so on and so forth. You do that, then you add people to come and contribute. I think you have up to 5 family members to join on that. Yeah.
Okay. I would like to remind you that this show is brought to you by MTN. MTN everywhere you go. Now, Samuel, I don't know if it's just me, because I have my own perception about the penetration when it comes to streaming platforms in Ghana. Do you think Ghanaians have embraced the advent of music streaming, movie streaming? I mean, getting your content off a digital platform. Do you think it's something that Ghanaians have embraced enough, or you think there's still some room there?
Oh yeah, I think a lot of people are on it. A lot of the youths have jumped on it because of how some of the devices will force us to registering or subscribing to these platforms. But even with that, it's actually the ease that comes with it, and the extra stuff like being able to listen to music on the go. One thing I really enjoyed when I jumped on it was having music released overnight. I'm having it immediately released.
Yeah.
Whether I'm in America, I'm in Ghana. I mean, sometimes I stay up at dawn on Fridays, especially when they release album, just to listen to it for the first time. Yeah. So I'll be awake, 12 a.m. strikes, then the album is released.
And it's there.
I'm not now going to wait for the Americans to finish listening to it before I go. I mean, everybody gets to listen at the same time. I can download it. I can get the highest quality and listen to. I mean, a lot of people are on Boomplay now. Yeah, I think Boomplay is free, right?
Yeah, it's free, and there's a paid part as well. Yeah.
Those who like listening to adverts, they enjoy the free session. It's cool. You can actually test it if it helps you. But I believe that some of these platforms like Spotify and Apple Music are more like standards. But in Africa, I think Boomplay is playing a big role.
It's covered a lot of ground.
It's doing really well, helping artists come out and all those things. I think you've realized also these artists are now using in order to measure their success, they are not using only YouTube anymore.
Yeah.
They have like, okay, I'm on the charts, I'm this. They can now compete worldwide.
Yeah.
So if you want to even support your own artist, it's not about buying the CD on the street. You understand? You have to now subscribe and just listen. It's not that difficult to go directly to buy the person's album. No, that's different.
Yeah.
This one, immediately you are subscribed, you can listen to everyone and explore and even increase your range of music that you listen to.
Yeah, that's interesting. And I love the way digital is basically taking everything to a different level.
It's really exciting. I mean, I remember when I joined Spotify at first, there was some music that we had this disc that we used to play. I mean, the disc is now scratched and all that. We've lost. Sometimes you just be there and the music will just hit you and you want to listen, but you can't use the disc anymore. If you have Spotify, some of the music you can't even find anymore. You will find them on Spotify. So sometimes I go for, there are times I go for rehearsal to sing, or I have a gathering with a friend and someone mentions a music, say, there's a song, we should find it. I'm like, oh, don't worry, I have it. In seconds, I open it like, how do you like every time you have every song, how do you do it? They're like, it's just Spotify. And they're like, oh, okay. So people feel like Spotify is just the current music alone. I mean, the library is huge.
Yeah, it's
very huge. You can use to play music for your grandma, your grandpa. You can even help those old artists that their life or their music career is dying out. You can help them by playing some of their music so that they can also get something.
Yeah, exactly. And that's also a whole different competition when it comes to like the database that has a lot of maybe, for instance, like because you're in Ghana, I would say the database of how far back you can find music on some of these platforms. But that's a different conversation. But back to what we are talking about today. When you look at the platforms that are available right now, what are some of the hacks or some of the different tricks or the different ways that one can maximize them? Do you think there are some hidden features that people are not very privy to yet that others are taking advantage of?
There's a lot. If we are starting from, let me just mix it up. There's stuff for Netflix. There's stuff for Spotify. So I'll just be saying them randomly. For instance, there's Netflix games. Those who like to explore games, it's quite simple. You open the Netflix itself, you can play games inside the app right there without actually going outside it to down. So you can play lots of multiple games like fun games and all those kind of all under your one subscription. You don't need to pay anything else. Yeah, enjoy games without any adverts like the ones you've been downloading at every 5 seconds. They tell you to
watch the whole ad, watch the video to continue, watch the video to accumulate points.
And then you have to click the close button and then it will now open it and you close the Google Chrome and oh my god. Just enjoy games from Netflix. It's awesome. I see kids enjoy it a lot. If you are tired of watching movies, take a break. Just play some games. People have also noticed that the Spotify is not about music alone. Anything that's audio can be found on Spotify. They've added this feature about audiobooks. But currently it's not really the full audiobook section is not really in Ghana yet. But if you're those who are using VPNs can enjoy it. You can purchase books and then listen to them on the go. You can do the purchasing on the web version, the Spotify web, and when you download it, it comes to your mobile phone or wherever else you're using the Spotify app. It's like you're having how do you call it, music on your phone, and you can listen to the book anywhere and everywhere. And then with now what we currently have is simple summaries from people who have read certain books, so you can find channels or accounts or even how do you call it, playlist that deal with books on knowledge and so on and so forth. You can listen to those ones to summarize books that maybe you might be interested in purchasing. Yes, the books about, I think, the rules of power or something. Yeah, it's the Atomic Habits, all those books that maybe you've heard of them. You can listen to the excerpts and then decide on maybe making a purchase or not. So it goes beyond just entertainment. It has education, it has religion. I mean, sometimes I listen to my own pastor through that platform. You can have your your Quran reading and all those things on the same app. Apple Music has similar things, just like that. And I think last week we mentioned those who have problems with sleeping, concentrating, and meditation. There's a whole lot of content meant for those two. There's meditation audio where you can listen to sounds that help you to reach certain frequencies where you can just calm down. So when you're working in a crowded place, maybe you can put something in your ear and listen to some ocean, rainfall. As I said, I use it a lot. If you come to my room at night, you'll be shocked. You think something's going on. I'm just listening to some raindrops or some brown noise or some white noise calming me down just to be able to sleep. So if you're someone who struggles to sleep a lot, don't let your Spotify account or your Apple Music account go to waste. Look for sleep, relaxing music. Anywhere you just search for it, and you can end up creating your own playlist if you want to. And then if you have a friend can share the playlist with you. And then there's also,
I think there's also okay, you go ahead maybe.
Okay.
I don't want to steal anything from you today, so that you accuse me. I'm trying to make sure you don't accuse me today.
Okay. I'll finish this, then you come in. There's how do you call it? One thing that people have not paid much respect to is podcast. I mean, right now people think that podcasts are all about arguments. I mean, there are a deep educational stuff on even psychology. If you listen to it, you feel like you're a genius. Imagine listening to someone who has had a PhD in psychology talk about psychology. After some couple of episodes, sometimes you feel like you are there. If you want motivational messages too on the go, before you get to your office on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, you just put in your ear, listen to an episode on maybe something that you're involved in the tech field. There are news and stuff that also come through same platforms. And so on and so forth. So I'll leave you to break that.
I don't have anything. I was about to talk about a podcast and then you took it from me. So I don't get choice.
You should really explore the podcast field. I mean, it has beyond the usual ones we've been seeing of Amabeland and the rest. There are other ones that go beyond maybe chit-chatting, gossips and all those things, and entertainment. Ones that go deep, really deep. People that you really want to meet for mentorship, you can actually listen to them, because in the mentorship what they do is that they still advise you. Same content now being created in a proper manner for you to listen to episode by episode.
That's very interesting. For me, I do a lot of documentaries on Spotify, especially when it comes to the podcast bits of it. So I learn a lot of things because, like you're saying, there are things that you might have heard about, but you may not have ever been in a space where you have access to those resources, like to these specific books or this like literature or this history that you are looking for. But people have a way of summarizing them in a very unique way, and that because it's an audio platform, some of them are very creative and like mixing them in a very scenic way. So like while you are listening to it, maybe in the book there are some descriptions or in whatever issue that they're talking about, there are some descriptions. They're able to like add very, nuanced effects that sort of give you that experience. It makes you feel like you are in that specific moment.
Yeah.
So
Some people are very good with breaking down some concepts, like even a book. They can tell you the story as if you read a different book. It's quite interesting when people do research and come up with a lot of information concerning that particular topic. Yeah.
So when it comes to these platforms as well, like, are there very interesting ways of, for instance, customizing them to maybe fit like a specific user experience?
Yeah. So I remember talking about the playing music, syncing music with someone else. Yeah. So if you have someone that maybe you are those who like doing this long distance relationship. If you have someone that you talk to a lot on your calls when you are tired, why don't you listen to music? Yeah. So you can share something that both of you can listen to music at the same time if you all have the accounts, and then enjoy that music and talk about the music, or even share a podcast session. Talking about podcast, I think Joy FM is on a podcast. You can listen to the show.
Yeah, you can listen to the show on
if you're listening on
podcast.
well done. You're utilizing the platform.
Yes, exactly. I'm sure you'll be listening after this. So if you hear it here, I mean, it's a podcast you're listening to, of course. So shout out to you if you're listening to the podcast.
There's one thing I really love about Spotify is the Smart Shuffle. And have you heard of the DJ?
Yeah, it's an AI tool.
Yes.
Very fantastic. I utilize it a lot.
Yeah. So I'm someone who get bored with music quickly. That's why I like listening to new music. So if you are there and you listen to a lot of music on the platform, they're able to now track what music you listen to and which one you prefer, even on certain days and certain times of the day. So if you wake up in the morning, you can just hit it and let it take control of your playlist and all the music you've been listening to, and to bring in music from the past, the present, and it's very enjoyable if you have listened to music for a while. It's something like it can predict your mood.
It's really because awesome. If for me, when I'm using the Spotify DJ or the AI tool, a lot of the time it gives you, regularly for the shuffle, it usually gives you like songs that you usually listen to, that you are very likely to listen to. Like maybe you've actually listened to the song before, so it gives you something around that same range. But for the AI bit of it, gives you something that you haven't heard of before. But interestingly, like you kind of relate to it. Yeah. So it studies your listening pattern, and that is why, like you were saying the other time, like the artificial intelligence is very important because these tech companies are really maximizing
the power of
the tools, and we are seeing them in real time.
So same way with the Netflix. So Netflix also has this thing. There are third parties that help them syncing video footage, so you can watch. Say you have a family member who has traveled, and then you want to watch a movie with a person. You could have the syncing happening. Maybe you have someone who's also very stubborn, doesn't want to want you to watch movie without him or her. It's like you're cheating on me by watching that movie.
Watching the
exactly.
movie.
We are sharing it together. You can't watch.
We started watching it together, and you are leaving me to finish it. You come and tell me that you are.
I will not allow this. I can't come and be watching you finish this. No. So the best way is for you to utilize the third party options, where you can have the syncing happening, where when you're watching a movie, I can also watch wherever I am, and then we can even discuss it over phone. I mean, it can spice up your life. Instead of just doing the one way, hello, how are you doing? You're done, and your credit is not finished. You're standing there like, I mean, let's watch a movie. Hear out. It is not always that maybe you come and do some Netflix and chill in the person's house. No, you can just watch it wherever you are. Even on Tuesdays, when you can, because of work or something, you can travel. Can enjoy it. So it's one thing that's fun, and you can also try. Netflix roulette. I don't know if you heard of that.
You have to tell me.
If you are someone who watches movie a lot, I'm sure by now you've watched the movie. You are tired because you've watched too many movies, but you still want more, right? If you realize that some that they recommend movies, all the recommendations you've watched most of them. You can do Netflix roulette. All you have to do is to find a website. Just type Netflix roulette on Google. There are multiple of them. Even the first one, you can just go in, select the type of movie you want, the rating. You can do that and just shuffle. It will bring up movies that maybe you've not watched, and any random movie that maybe you meet a couple of friends. Everyone will say, "We want to watch this. We want to watch that." Do the Netflix roulette. Any movie that pops up, you all sit down and try to enjoy it. So it has all these features hidden in it. And one thing I also like is the reminder. I'm someone who often forgets that movies have been released sometimes. So if you want to stay on top of your game, you can use the reminder when they show up trailers. So they have this section in the app in Netflix that shows a lot of trailers. You just type on the remind me. Whenever the movie is coming out, it pops up. Just like Apple TV does the same thing. So I'm sure the Paramount TV and the rest of the apps also have the same vibes.
But remind us of the name, what are they supposed to type? You just mentioned, is it Netflix?
Netflix roulette.
Roulette.
Yes, like the roulette game.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like randomizing, how do you call it, movie selection. Yeah. It makes it fun instead of just having a plan. Oh, I'm going to watch this. I'm going to watch. You may end up with a Korean series. Something wild.
Why are you shading? Why are you shading?
Oh, I do love Korean series. I watch a random.
Some people who will not be pleased with you.
Oh, come on. You gotta think. Okay. Let me say this so that I'll be on their side. I watched a random movie was it this Friday or Saturday? Saturday, yeah. What was it? What do you call that? Black Belt security guard or something. The title itself is funny, but the movie was quite cool. Yeah, I almost cried at a certain point. Yeah, it was dope. I mean, you can try it. So you never know, right? You never know. Yeah.
Never know.
You never know what exactly.
Spice up your life.
Yeah, just do the random stuff and you find something exciting.
Right. So let's talk about, even before this, I was even going to talk about how Netflix still like it kind of increases like bonding in families because it's still movies on VCR that have been transferred onto digital and stuff like that. We know how movies and things like that used to bring families together, especially back then when the television was like one of the only units that usually brought the family together. These days there are a lot of devices and stuff like that, so everyone is always on their own, on their device and stuff like that. But with some of these features that you talked about, it still can have a way of bringing like families together, spending quality time with each other instead of being on your personal devices, living that in silos. But are there also lesser known streaming platforms that are offering equally great services that you think a lot of people have not paid too much attention to?
Well, I would say this one. I'm sure everybody will be like, oh.
Who say oh? We don't know.
YouTube has awesome movies. It has simple movies, little projects done by people. I mean, just saying, I don't know if you've heard of Warhammer. Someone did a simple short clip of Warhammer, and if you see the 3D works, it's like that dope. It looks like a full movie done by a team. Yeah, people are doing awesome things on YouTube. You can watch short movie clips. Some people upload projects from school that tell different stories and so on and so forth. But if you're interested, you can actually search this. Rotten Tomatoes, you know Rotten Tomatoes? Yeah. They rate movies. They have 100 best free movies on YouTube. You can search for that. And then you can get a list of movies. Maybe you and your friends are someone people who like exploring movies. Or your family. You have bought this new smart TV in the house and you can't pay for Netflix yet. Why don't you just go on Google, get your family together on Saturday, look for the 100 best free movies on YouTube list, just randomly pick some and just watch. So YouTube can be fun and entertaining. Even though there's a subscription part, even though it's free, you can jump on that and just enjoy it with the family.
That's an interesting thing. I didn't think about that.
Oh yeah.
There's
a lot.
We usually take it for granted
when
it comes to movies.
Yes.
Because I know there are a lot of Nigerian movies.
Oh yeah. I was about to talk about that too.
Yes, I know aunties who are very interested.
But 1 by 2 by 3. Oh my god, the stories are long.
Yeah.
If you're able to find, there are very good channels with very good stories. Very good channels with very good stories. If you find them, they can actually help you with how do you call it? Enjoying your weekends and your time with the family. There are very dope movies that are online. As I said, it depends on where you find your list. You can use it to enjoy yourself. And there are also what do you call it? Educational stuff. So YouTube is a whole media. Something. It's
there's a lot.
It's a lot. Just like Spotify and the rest. It has the educational part. It has the religious part. It has the entertainment part. So if you are there watching only Michelangelo, what is that going?
The Nigerian
Michelangelo,
makers.
Comedy, then you are losing out. I mean, jump on the other parts. Help yourself. If you are there and you have any what do you call it? Psychological issues you want to research on, YouTube is a good tutorials. YouTube is there. Educational stuff. YouTube is there. Entertainment. YouTube is there. I mean, that it's free. It's free, obviously, yeah. So sometimes you see someone sitting in church and watching YouTube videos. You might not know what the person is doing. He's learning something. Someone's going for interview and the person's on YouTube.
Preparing for the learning
interview.
a lot.
It's,
You
it
think
has
they're
a
just
lot.
on there
Yeah.
having fun?
Yeah, it's a lot.
Mm.
So yeah.
So, talking about all these tools, I mean, there are accompanying devices that complement our phones and other gadgets as well.
Yeah.
So when it comes to these platforms that we're talking about for streaming and all those things, I also know that there are, for instance, like I was saying, the other tools that help, the other devices, for instance, Alexa. I mean, if you have a Google Assistant, all of those little devices. Are there ways that some of these things complement these streaming platforms to make the experience a bit better than it ordinarily will be?
Yeah. So now that's how do you call it? They are bringing more of this AI stuff. Imagine asking Alexa to give you a recommendation of a movie, a romantic movie from an African origin. You understand? Yes. So there are other features that you can also. There are other things inside the same platforms. Devices or how do I call it? Robots or AIs that could help you to not even just get recommendations. Can let you start maybe how do you call it? Start Prison Break on Netflix, and then it will just pop up, and then you can watch it. If you have your TV and all these devices synced, like how do you call it, the Internet of Things,
through the internet, yeah,
you could have these devices play and even sync the movie across the devices at home, the different audio stations at home. Yeah.
So actually, you can let every room in the house play like the same movie or the same song or the same. I mean, rain sounds.
Yes.
Because you want the house to feel like it's raining.
Your whole house will rain. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. You can do that. There's one thing I wanted to also mention. There are movies on Netflix that maybe, if you're bored, you can do this. There are some series that have been arranged in a way that instead of watching a one direction from episode 1 to episode 10, you could watch it from episode 1, episode 4, episode 6, episode 9, and episode 10.
Wait, that's new to me.
That's
new to me.
They've started that particular thing on series. So
how do you want to watch a show in that order?
It has different outcomes and different feelings to the story, telling the stories in random. So they are specific. You can Google them and search them out. There's some series that are meant for that. You tell your own story in your own way. So you can start with episode 10, the last episode, and get to the top. You can start with episode 10, go to episode 2, go to episode 4, and by the time you are done, you have your own story and how you see the characters.
Yes, because it will change your perspective.
Yes. The story will not be bad, like as in it's off. It's not off. You get a story already because of how they were told. They were meant to be watched randomly. Yeah. So each randomness that you do gives you a different perspective to the story of the movie. So you can watch the same movie like more than 5 times.
Today I'm actually learning a lot. I thought I knew my streaming apps, but it looks like there's a lot that I need to learn as well. But there's more to learn on here. It's still the Geek Squad on Joy 99.7 FM. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back with more. Welcome back. This is Joy 99.7 FM. You're listening to the Geek Squad, and I'm here with Samuel. We are talking about streaming platform. That's what the topic has been today. We've talked about a lot of ways through which you can maximize whichever streaming platform that you are using. If you are not on any streaming platform as well, then I'm wondering how you get your content. But please get on something. At least the creators are also trying to make ends meet, so you can help them or support them by also subscribing to some of these things. I think we need to have that conversation sometime.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah,
why is everybody shifting to podcast now?
Exactly.
It's like the new age.
Exactly. Everybody has a podcast or two. I have so many friends who are on podcasts and are creating their own podcast, and they are enjoying themselves. They're having the time of their life, and that's fine. So, since you're on podcast still, what are some of the ways that people can maximize these platforms? Not just podcasts, by the way. Some of these streaming platforms, no matter what form of device that they are using, or no matter what form of content that they are consuming. Okay. So which app do you think you would like to start with?
Let's randomize. Let's start with Netflix. Then we'll jump to podcast where we take step by step. We'll actually look at. I'll show you some of the platforms you can go directly and discover this creative, beautiful account that will help you in your journey, in your work. Maybe your personal, you want to do retrospective or anything like that of that spot of any direction, educational. and so on and so forth. Let's just start with the Netflix first. So there's something we call Netflix codes. These codes help you to identify or find movies that may not be your list. So sometimes when you open your account and they are recommending, the recommendations become like the same. There's a time I used to watch a lot of movies. So when I push, I'm watching most of them, and the ones that left, I don't want to watch them. So how do I find other movies that are like hidden? Right? Yeah, there are genres, or how do you pronounce that word?
Yeah, genre.
Everybody has their own.
Everyone has their version.
G-N-R-E,
R-E,
right? Yeah,
yeah.
genre. There's genre, there's categories, there's like groupings of these movies that help you to identify which kind of movies that is to your taste. So there's action, there's adventure, there's comedy, there's what do you call it, anime, and so on and so forth. So how do we find these movies quickly without going through the list and scrolling? All you have to do is to use certain codes. How do we use these codes? You just go to your Netflix, your search bar, and enter these numbers. If you want to find adventure movies and action movies, it's 1365. Don't spell action movies. Type 1365. Action and adventure. If you want to be very specific and you want to go to action comedies, it's 43040. Don't say I didn't
mention
tell
it
you.
again.
43040. Action comedies.
Yeah, so take your time when you're going to the list, because there are some people at home, they've just selected their category in their head and they've taken the pen. They are just waiting for you to get there and mention theirs. So if you rush through it, they are dead.
Well, okay. I'll show you. The trick is that you can actually Google this and find
That's easier.
There's a whole list. Yeah, there's a whole list. If you take your time and really, really dig through. But if you want to just try this one out, I'll just mention some of you, then you can try them out right now. 1365, you get a list of action movies that maybe you've not even thought of. So we have action movies that are more comedic, that's breaking down into the action and adventures. That's 43040. You have action, sci-fi, and fantasy, 1568. Action thrillers, 43048. Let me jump the action and go to anime. Those who like cartoons, the Chinese anime.
I was waiting for when you get there.
There's 7424 animes, 7424. There's anime dramas, 452. Action anime, 2653. Animal Tales, 5507.
I'm also writing some down.
Okay.
I need some of them.
So anime itself, the whole category of anime itself is 7424. Don't spell anime. Type 7424 in your search bar. Then for Animal Tales, 5507. Also under the category of the anime, you want to be specific, so you're going down. The anime science fiction, you can go 2729. 2729 anime science fiction. If you want anime action, 2753. Anime series, 6721. Children and family movies, 783. It's not cartoons per se. It could be ranging from human beings all the way to 3D cartoons and all that kind of stuff. 783. They are meant for children and family. If you want Disney specific movies, 67673. 67673. Kids music, 52843. If you have a lot of kids who enjoy, like they dance a lot, Netflix and stuff, TikTok dances and stuff, and you want to watch a movie that relates to music, just use the code 52843. There's Christmas movies, British Christmas movies, Canadian Christmas movies. The list goes on and on. So I'll urge you to actually go online and Google these things. There's a bunch. There's a long list. The documentaries, those who love documentaries, go 6839. 6839. So let me jump away from this because if I say we will finish tomorrow.
Yeah.
Let's go online. Let's Google it. One of our things that we are advocating on this platform is using Google, right?
Yeah.
So let's all Google it. If you find something amazing, share with me because sometimes the codes they are hidden. Find something and just share with me. Japanese movies 10398.
Okay. Why were you very specific on the Japanese movies?
I love Japanese movies. It's a secret. I've let it out. Yeah.
So, since we are on the topic of categorizations and stuff like that, for people who like podcasts, what are some of the ways that they can maximize it or find or like get themselves onto that platform? I know the first step would be to obviously get a device.
Yeah.
But after getting the device, what's next?
So I would recommend you going into the categories. Categories are like the groupings that focus on a particular region of conversation. You understand? Don't let the conversation itself chase you, but find something that you're interested in, something that you want to explore. Maybe in this particular month you want to go into crime, and understand how crime works. You can just go to your podcast app. Let's go. So we don't have podcasts in Apple Music per se, but we have the podcast app itself. I'm sure you've never opened the app on your
I'm Apple Podcast, but I go there only occasionally because if I want to access my podcast, usually I'll do Spotify podcast than the Apple podcast.
Oh yeah.
So it sounds very far from the app. I mean, Spotify, you like everything.
Yeah, I get it.
I need to open 2 different apps to.
Yeah.
Come on.
So there's a lot. There's this guy that I've been listening to. I know you know him. Let me see if I can find his name. The name is very hard to pronounce. Vusi. Please forgive me if I mention your name wrong. Vusi Tembekwayo or something. This guy who talks about business, entrepreneurship, and stuff. He's very good. I think he's from South Africa. It's one of the best mentors you could follow when it comes to business. He's also a very good Christian. So you can, as I was saying, you can find mentors on these platforms. And they talk about various things, about carrying stuff that are happening in business world, where to invest, put your money. All you have to do is to open the app, go to the browse session, and then there are lots of categories. There's sports, there's sound for new BBC is there, top shows, top episodes, trending topics, essentials, gripping history, voices of Africa, shows that talk about love, discover hits. I mean, there's a lot.
Yeah.
If you want to really explore, just go to the browse session, or if you heard about a particular show, just go to the search session and just type the name. If not, you can just go to the search session and still find categories that could help you. For instance, I want comedy. I tap the search section. There's different groupings that are arranged there. I like comedy, so I just tap on comedy, and it loads. There's a whole list of comedy, and on ending. Yeah. There. So this is where your how do you call it, your how do you call it, that's your Amazon Kindle,
there's the Echo
and stuff. Play their role.
The
You don't buy it and
assistants.
put in your house for music.
Yeah.
Those are, you realize that when you play music on it, the weight of the music sounds different.
But some people say Alexa has been fighting with them all the time.
Well,
If they command Alexa to do something, Alexa wants to tell them what to do.
Because-
as a typical African man, Alexa can tell you. People are fighting with Alexa in their homes.
because you want Alexa to fly. That's the thing. You're making it do things that you're supposed to do. Pick simple tasks for Alexa. That actually relates to its function. Like listen to podcast. You can let it play and listen to funny stuff. There's Bad Friends. Netflix is a daily joke. There's a lot. Tiger Belly and so on and so forth. Education stuff for your kids. You sit in a car and just open something that could have an impact on your children and just play it. You may think they are not listening, but gradually they listen to those kind of stuff. You may think that you're not listening to the radio, but in the end they can say Nana Akufo-Addo, they can mention president's name, all those things. They are all coming from that stuff that are being played in the background. So why don't you also look for content that could help your children in understanding sports, comedy, business, music, true crime, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, that's good. And also you can find the Geek Squad on your podcast everywhere you consume them. The Geek Squad is definitely there. Welcome back. This is Geek Squad on Joy 99.7 FM. We're also talking about tools and streaming platforms that help, consumers to access any content wherever they want to get them. But I'd like to read some messages. This is coming from Kojo Mensah in the University of Ghana. He says, great show. I think you mean Vusi Thembekwayo.
That's it.
The South African.
You still can't pronounce it. I mean,
I don't even know how he's expecting me to pronounce. When you also wrote it.
Exactly.
We read it.
You should have done voice notes.
I know. That would have been better. We read it.
Yeah.
You are right.
You can't still pronounce it, my brother.
But thank you anyway for attempting to, help us with
yeah.
that. This is also coming from Zet from Akwitima. He says, hello, Geek Squad team. I'm sorry to ask for this again. I made my son write all the stress app you spoke about last week, but I can't find the book now. let me just help you out.
Let's release the stress.
Zet, I see where you're going with this. Let me help you release this.
Yeah.
Release this stress of yours. So last week we were talking about some of the apps that help people to distress, and here's a list of some of them that we talked about. We talked about Headspace, and it's a meditation app. We talked about Wudoku. It's a board game. We talked about Samvelo. It's a cognitive behavioral therapy app. Cognitive behavioral therapy app. So if you want to know all of these things I'm talking about, you can go back to our show on YouTube or earlier episode of our podcast, and you'd find all of these things over there. So Zed, you can go there and find them. The other ones are color therapy app. It's a stress game on colors. It helps a lot. There's Personal Zen, which was Richmond's favorite.
Yeah.
It's a clinically proven app that helps people battle painful emotions and exercise the brain for.
Since you mentioned a kid, let me give you this one. If your kid is jumping out, and sometimes the kids get too excited or angry, use this one, Calm Harm. Look for something to distract them for the next 5 minutes. We mentioned this. Calm Harm. CALMHARM.
And there's also Paper Toss. It's a paper game, so if you are very stressed and you need something to calm you down, it's something that can also help you. So these are some of the list of things that we talked about the other time. You can go and type Geek Squad and the dates on YouTube or anywhere you find your podcast, and I'm sure you're going to get the episode that you want to listen to. Now, Samuel, now that we are wrapping up, what are your final words?
I'll tell everyone to explore the apps. Especially go to the search section on Spotify. You see explore the genres. You see a whole lot of categories made for you: Afro, pop, podcast charts, documentary, and so on and so forth. If you're able to explore, that's when you discover new things. You can have conversations with your friends that are beyond what they even know, because you've done the exploration with the same amount of money we're all paying for the apps.
Yeah. Right. I also learned that from you. So if I need to learn more things, I don't need to stick to the traditional ways, podcasts and other, the set button, and you'll be able to find what you need. So that's how we draw the curtain on today's edition of Geek Squad on Joy 99.7 FM. It was brought to you by MTN everywhere you go. I did this with Samuel Boateng. He's a tech content creator with interest in digital trends. I'm Kenneth Awotwe Darko, and this has been Geek Squad.